David Bowie is by far one of the most recognizable musicians from the 20th and 21st century, best known for his hit songs Rebel Rebel, Space Odyssey, Starman, Under Pressure with Queen, and many more. But there's one album of his that I can't get enough of, and it's Hunky Dory, released on the 17th of December 1971, and I would like to talk about this record. After the release of Bowie's third studio album, The Man Who Sold the World, he went on to form a short-lived band called Arnold Corns, inspired by the 1967 Pink Floyd song, though the band didn't get very far, hence the fact that it was short-lived. Anyways, Bowie began working on this album in May of 1971. For this album, Bowie began writing songs using a piano rather than a guitar, which he used to write songs for his previous albums. And like his previous albums, Bowie insisted on working with guitarist Mick Ronson, bassist Trevor Bolder, and drummer Mick Woodmansey. And with his team assembled, it was time to start recording the album. The first song on the album is by far one of the biggest on this record and definitely one of my all-time favorite album openers. Musically, Changes is an art pop song and it shows. The production is ahead of its time. Even the lyrics are ahead of their time, with Bowie writing about how he's not letting time hold him back from stepping out into the world, saying he needs to turn his face to the strange and that he can't predict the future, so it's better to live life to the fullest, instead of being afraid to live it at all. Hence the first verse of the song as well as the chorus.
Changes and face the strange. Changes. It's gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
And as for the instrumental on the track, I still think it holds up very well. The piano and kick drum build up in the intro of the song still makes me eager to listen to the full album, even though I already know it front to back. And I figure I'd mention the vocals on this track, which are fantastic. Bowie sounds very vulnerable here, and it fits this song pretty perfectly considering the lyrical contents.
Still don't know what I was waiting for, and my time was running wild, a million dead-end streets and...
Another song I'd like to highlight is Oh You Pretty Thing.
Oh, you pretty things, don't you know you're driving your drivers insane?
The perfect follow-up to Changes in my opinion. The chorus references the song Mama and Papa's, which Bowie covered with an earlier band sometime in the 1960s. 8-Line Poem is a beautiful poem, and as the title suggests, it's an 8-line poem, with the remainder of the track being mostly instrumental. Definitely an underrated gem on the record, even with its short supply of lyrics. Life on Mars is a song I'm sure everyone knows, so it needs no introduction. Released originally in 1971 on part of Hunky Dory, but picked up as a single in 1973 at the height of the Ziggy Stardust era. Did I add this song was meant to be a parody of My Way by Frank Sinatra, though I believe it's more than that. I think Bowie's voice on the song, along with the instrumental, makes the song feel almost theatrical in a way.
Fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at her long as their life on Mars.
I'd be lying if I said it isn't the best song on the album, because it definitely is. Two songs I would like to highlight on the album are Cooks and Quicksand. On one hand, Cooks is a sweet song about Bowie's first time being a father, with him making several references to first-time fatherhood.
Well, some things to keep you warm and dry, and a funny old crib on which the paint won't dry. I bought you a pair of shoes, a trumpet you can blow, and a book of rules on what to say to people if they pick on you. 'Cause if you stay with us, you grow a pretty cookie too.
I honestly think this is one of the most wholesome songs on the record, and again it's very vulnerable, which is a pattern I see through and through on this album. Then on the other hand you have Quicksand, which is an honest piece where Bowie speaks about not having any more power, as well as being stuck in between dark and light and trapped in one's thoughts. These songs are definitely a pair of my favorites on the record, and I recommend listening to these too. Hell, listen to the entire record, it definitely won't disappoint.
I'm trying to the rabbit hole.
doubt will go, and I ain't got the power anymore. Now I ain't got the power anymore. How should I kiss the life is fine? I herald loud the death of man. I'm sinking in the quicksand of my thoughts.
Now it's time to talk about the weirder songs on the album, that being Fill Your Heart and Andy Warhol, and I mean weird in the best way possible. Although many aren't fans of the vocal style presented on these two songs, I think I find it all the more enjoyable because of how experimental they are.
Writings on the wall.
Free air and you can know it all.
I think it very much so keeps the album from feeling boring, and it kinda adds a sense of variety on an album that's already so artsy. I think both of these songs hold a lot of weight, and they're overall pretty good listens. Though not for everyone, there's someone out there who will definitely enjoy these two songs, including me. I find these some of the best amongst this album, which is pretty much perfect. And as for the remainder of the album, I think all three songs hold a lot of impact on the latter half of this already magnificent LP. Song for Bob Dylan, as the title suggests, is a song for Bob Dylan. And here I think the guitar on this track steals the show, along with Bowie's vocal style and the choir behind him. Queen Bitch is also a marvelous track, with this one feeling the most 1970s rockish of them all. And for the final song on the album, The Bowie Brothers, I think this is amongst my top favorites of the album when it comes to Hunky Dory. I think this one holds a lot of substance, and for sure is a really good album closer to what I believe is Bowie's best record.
And so the story goes, they wore the clothes, they said the things to make it seem improbable. The way live a lie like they hope it was.
Now, you may be asking, what exactly makes Hunky Dory genius? Well, I think everything about the album is genius. If you listen track by track, you almost get a sense of Bowie's thought process whilst working on the album. You get a glimpse into his emotions, feelings, struggles, and so much more. The album almost doesn't feel like an album. It feels as if you're having a personal conversation with Bowie, and I think that is genius. In my opinion, even though this album isn't related to Ziggy Stardust, I feel this album definitely fits somewhere in that universe, as the character on this album, if there is one at all, maybe Hunky Dory himself or whoever that is, feels vulnerable. He presents himself in a way where you truly believe he's scared of the world and the things around him. Then the transition from this album to Ziggy Stardust, who is an alien rock star, is him growing into his own and finding himself. With that being said, I love this album and can't stress it enough that you give it a spin. Anyways, what are your thoughts on Hunky Dory? Do you like the album? Do you have a favorite song on the album? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.